The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid? Scream Queens, the unofficial Scream Queens internet radio show exclusively on Papi Chulo Radio. Today is Sunday, November 29th, 2015, and I'm your host, Papi Chulo. During tonight's broadcast, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of Scream Queens. Later on in the broadcast, get ready for a spoiler alert as we bring you the hit Fox series' casting scoops, spoilers, and ratings. First up, she demands that after we eat, we play charades. It's Priscilla.
Yep, because that's how white people say it, I guess.
Rich white people.
Yes.
And next up, he will have a long life. He'll meet so many new and different women, so many wonderful women to go out with and break up with and move on from. It's Prince Rico Suave.
What's going on? And my family's cool. They're the best.
That was a very good Chad Radwell impression.
Thanks. Thank you. Even though Chad Michael Murray.
Well, that's when Prince gets incestual.
Bad.
So let's jump into our recap of episode 110, which was titled Thanksgiving, and it aired on November 24th, 2015. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. Chanel confides in Chad that she murdered Hester to save their love, but when she goes to show Chad the body, it has disappeared from the meat locker. Chanel number 3 attends her family Thanksgiving, but finding them unapproachable and rude, she quickly departs and returns to the Kappa house to find Grace, Zayde, and Dean Munch preparing dinner. Grace allows Wes to join them, and when Chanel number 5 also returns to the house after discovering her family forgot to tell her about their Thanksgiving holiday, Dean Munch suggests that the survivors posit their Red Devil killer theories. Gigi, still angry about Boone's betrayal, and the remaining Red Devil also spend Thanksgiving together, while Chad and Chanel's Thanksgiving with the Radwells is halted by the arrival of Hester, whose life was saved by her neck brace. Dean Munch and Chanel number 3 believe that each other is the killer, while an ashamed Wes admits that he is entertaining the possibility of Grace being the murderer. Pete also arrives at the Kappa Thanksgiving and constructs a solid argument for Wes being the Red Devil, culminating in the reveal that Wes is in fact the biological father of Boone, and thus likely also the father of the remaining Red Devil. Wes and Grace resolve their differences to protect each other from their bloodthirsty family no matter what. After being humiliated and bullied by the elitist Radwell clan, Chanel calls them out, and she and Hester return to the Kappa house with a reluctant Chad in tow, just in time for dinner. All of the survivors sit down to the turkey, but are horrified to find Gigi's severed head on the platter instead. Bum bum bum. Dun 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 dun. So I want to get everyone's initial reaction to the episode when the credits started rolling. What did you guys think of Thanksgiving on Scream Queens? Priscilla, go ahead first.
Oh my god, I was looking forward to like finding out more about Chad, and I was not disappointed. The Radwells are fucking amazing. They're terrible people, and that's why Chad came out terrible, and I love them for it. And as for the rest of the stuff, it's the first time I've ever seen Grace and Pete like act and not be completely like bored by what they were saying. So props to that. It was a great Thanksgiving episode.
Prince, what were your initial reactions to the episode?
First off, I'm going to speak for Wilson, our friend who is not here. Not enough killing. It's just not enough killing. Now, as for me, I liked the episode. I enjoyed it. I felt like, it gave us enough, like, hints, because you kind of filled in some of the blanks of some scenes that we saw in the past, and what they might have meant. And, some of the other flashbacks were just kind of fun and interesting. It gave us, like, more hints on who it could be and who it might be. So I kind of definitely enjoyed this episode. I'm excited more to find out who the Red Devil is now. I think this is what this episode pretty much geared me up for. Like, it raised my excitement and unmask the Red Devil.
And that's coming up very soon. I, much like both of you, enjoyed the episode as well. I thought it was a fun episode. It was hilarious at some points. It was really interesting and intriguing at other points. All of the theories were fascinating to see and play out. And the flashbacks were really nice as well. And the theorizing sort of flashes as well, explaining why they think, a certain person could potentially be the killer. And, the Radwells were spectacular in their lunacy and just straight up rude behavior. That was fantastic to see. And it was also great to see Chanel number three's family as well. So no Denise Hemphill, unfortunately, which was a bit sad, but overall a solid outing on Scream Queens. So let's get into the episode. And we start off with Chanel basically telling Chad that Hester was not actually pregnant and that she pushed Hester down the stairs. So Chad, of course, is very excited because he loves dead bodies, so he wants to see the body. He's even wanting to do a threesome with the body with Chanel, which Chanel is totally not for, but she does take him to see the body in the meat freezer, and bam! This always happens. There's no body there. So Chad is like, well, maybe Hester wasn't actually dead. She got up, she walked away after the Chanels put her there. Elsewhere, we see Gigi and the second Red Devil, still decked out in Red Devil attire and not talking, because obviously if they talked, we'll know who that is. So they're relaxing in their hotel room. They're doing arts and crafts, getting their Thanksgiving Macy's parade viewing on. And she's like, she complains about not being able to spend the holiday with Wes, but regardless, she thanks the devil for keeping her company because, you're like my only family, we're a family together. And room service arrives with a meal. It's quail, and when she lifts up the cover, it's a teeny tiny little bird. She got confused between quail and pheasant, but who cares? They got an electric carving knife, and she's ready to cut in. But before she does that, she thanks the Red Devil for being there with her, apologizes for Boone, but, Boone's got to go. He was going crazy. It's just the two of us, that kind of thing. And right as she's ready to carve, she decides to let the Red Devil do the honors, and she hands the Red Devil the knife. Dun dun dun. Chanel number 3 goes to spend Thanksgiving with her family. They are the Swensons. They have this frozen food dynasty, and they're all sitting on like a 2-level type of thing, a home theater thing with like a billion TVs, ready to eat their TV dinner of, I think it was like turkey and mashed potatoes and green bean casserole, that kind of thing.
And the little square carrots.
Yes, the square carrots. And they're the help, their maids and whatnot are in the second row, and because Chanel number 3 is late, and it's a TV dinner, you got to be there on time. If not, what's the point of a TV dinner, I guess? So she's sent to sit with the maids and such in the second row as opposed to in the first row, the front row, with her family. So she's disgusted by how they're acting, how they don't even ask her, how she's doing. There's a killer on campus and I've survived, and you haven't even asked me, am I okay? And so she ends up fussing at them, leaving, saying that she's going back to her home and that she's never returning for any family functions. And when she arrives there, she finds Dean Munch preparing the campus's pardoned turkey, as they were pronouncing it Tiburon, but we all know it's Tiburong. So let's pause right here. Let's talk about Chanel informing Chad about what's going on, and then Chanel number 6 vanishing, Gigi and the Red Devil getting their arts and crafts on, and Chanel number 3 and her family. Take it away, Prince.
Let's see. I'm gonna start off with. I honestly, this was like a good part because I love Chanel number 3. So I loved meeting Chanel number 3's family and just watching her stand up for herself and be the kick-ass Chanel number 3 I know she is, because she's always kind of like a hard ass. She's always kind of upfront and she doesn't sugarcoat shit. So I like that. It kind of took Chanel number 3 off my radar, this scene, in a sense. Gigi and the Red Devil. Well, Gigi's whacked out, and she's just extremely needy. She's just as needy as Boone, in my opinion.
But they're not related. She just.
I know, but that's they're just as needy.
Why she raised
like
him,
as a trait.
so
She picked. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this third Red Devil's probably like the smartest one, like the ringleader, like the game plan maker, because I'm like the rest are like straight idiots. But I didn't even know Gigi and Homeboy broke up. Like, was that like a decision she just made on her own? Like,
well, no, it just seems as if she decided not to spend Thanksgiving with him. They don't really explain it that well.
Weird. Yeah.
Well, she said something else.
Well, she sort of said like that she was going to show up later or something like that. But we'll talk about why she doesn't show up. But I think she does say something like, later on, I'm going to go see Wes or something like that. Maybe. No?
You got that? No. She says, like, I know you have other plans, but I'm not going to let you go hungry. Like, you should eat some of this. So we know for sure that that Red Devil, like, had something else to do Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, she does say you have plans.
You have an alibi to keep up with, so... Like, she made it clear that it was an alibi, like...
Well, I think she more so said something like what Priscilla was saying, that you have some place to be. Or you got to keep up appearances or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it just was like, that was just, like, an interesting little scene. I'm like, she was like, you are my family. Like, I left my family and stayed with you type thing. Which I kind of wanted to learn more about, like, why she left her family and like what the fuck. But I'm like, I guess if they show us, they'll show us. If they don't, they don't. And I'm like, Dean, she's just as dedicated as Chanel as like staying on this campus. Like, she just refuses to leave. Like, I know she says like, oh, absolutely, but I'm just like, no, she's just like, yo, this is my school. Like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, she's like, yeah, my in-laws think I killed, my husband, so I got disinvited. I'm like, don't you get your own family?
She killed her own family.
There you go.
That's why she was disinvited.
Aw.
No Thanksgiving.
But she did also say that the Kappa House has like the best kitchen on campus. Yeah, exactly, and like the high-tech everything.
Absolutely, because they're eating cotton balls with sauce. Sometimes it's ranch dressing.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Remember, like, they don't eat anything, so it is really
weird. They dip into the sauces. Yeah, I remember one episode they were like, let's get some duck sauce and dip our cotton balls in it. Although duck sauce is dope.
Yeah, but well, I don't know if it's dope on cotton balls.
Well, maybe not. But duck sauce is good on anything, so maybe. Who knows?
Oh, I can't. That skeeves me out. Just the fabric. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I
But it's
I
real.
tried.
I mean, there are people out there that do that so that they don't get full, so they can remain thin. I don't know how you do it. I don't even want to know how it looks like when it comes out, because you know it's got
Oh
to.
god, I didn't think about that.
Uh,
That's so
So
gross.
yeah, yeah. Let's move on. So I'll give my opinions. Oh gosh, this was awesome because I know a lot of us had theories that Hester was not dead. So it proved you
Yes.
guys right that her neck brace, I guess, that was the crack that we heard. And we end up finding out later that it appears that the fall and like the coldness of the freezer floor might have actually cured her scoliosis, which she's very happy about. So Hester, you made it out alive, girl. Try to stay alive. Gigi, that whole scene was interesting because there's the freaking Red Devil, and room service comes in and can clearly see that the Red Devil is at the dinner table cutting
That
up.
guy is the smartest guy on the show. He sees him and he's just like, I'm not gonna say shit. I'm just gonna leave my stuff and get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. While the Red Devil's like cutting up like hand turkeys and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And Gigi's all oblivious to everything. And when she gave the Red Devil the carving knife, I was like, okay, boom. Drop the microphone right there, Gigi, because you are done. And the
Oh,
peek into Chanel number three's family was interesting. I love how the mom was kind of going with the whole, your dad's not your dad, because she did the air quotes, like your father or something. I was like, wow, she's not even trying to hide it.
yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I'm like the whole Charles Manson story. I was like, did she make it up and just go along with it? And then all of a sudden you see the mom like, yeah, you're a dad, and I was like, oh shit, wow, she's telling the truth.
her,
Her mom's like,
her mom's crazy as
her
shit.
mom's right, like doing conjugal visits with fucking Charles Manson. Like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah. She's like, and the game, so he's probably gonna be in an attitude, and she's like pre-warning her. I was just
Oh
pissed
my
because I'm
god.
like, yo, there's a seat right next to you, and you made her sit behind you. Like, I get if all the seats in the front were full. Nah, you was just being a dick.
Mm-hmm. Did we
Yeah,
like the
you do
TV
my.
dinner? Did it look good?
Oh my
I
god, that
was
looked
fucking
gross as hell. I don't think I've had
like,
a TV
what?
dinner since I was like in elementary, and they have to give that shit to you like government wise. But like,
I just don't understand
oh,
how
that
you're
looked
that
disgusting.
rich, you get that much help, and that's what you're eating for
Yeah, I know. I
Thanksgiving.
thought
Like,
that was interesting. I guess, there are rich people that are very cheap, so it could be that. I mean, they got stacks of
not
the
with them
stuff.
6 TVs.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is
I'm
true.
like, you
What I
better
thought was
buy me a
interesting
real
was
turkey.
there are no TV dinners that look like that. Like, those were huge portions. Like, I don't even think Hungry Man TV dinners are that big and, like, filled with all that stuff.
I wouldn't know. That
I have no
seems like
idea. But hey,
right.
this is like her own brand of TV dinners. Maybe that's how they make so much money by having like huge TV dinners for people.
Yeah, could be.
Right, maybe
That shit looks gross though. They shouldn't be making any money off of that.
at all. Like, people that
That's
eat
too
that
funny.
should probably go to doctors regularly.
So
Just
let's
'cause-
visit the Radwell family compound.
Wait. Can I just mention like one joke that had me like seriously?
Yes.
She like the part where she just kind of like mentions going inside of the house and she's like, it's like a Tinder date. You expect it to be something, but then it's like really fucking disappointing, but you go through with it anyway. I was just like, holy shit, this is an amazing metaphor. And she says like in all of those African countries, but the countries she mentions are from South America.
Yeah, she said Venezuela,
I'm just
which
like
I was like, really?
I completely forgotten about like the family meetup there, but that was terrible. Oh my god, they're terrible people. But I love the dad. The dad was epic and just like not giving a shit and about just kind of being like, go sit in the back with the help. Family is awful for these rich people apparently.
Yeah, so let's meet another awful family. We have the Radwells. Chad takes, of course, Chanel to spend Thanksgiving with his family, and they start off the dinner by everyone sort of sharing what they're grateful and thankful for. We have Thad, who's thankful for European porn. We've got yeah, we've got Brad, who's thankful for basically his job in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. We've got Chad, who's thankful that he's still alive. He's thankful for himself that he's still alive, that the Red Devil hasn't picked him off. We've got Bunny, who's thankful that Chad's alive as well. We have the whole family sort of like, especially the parents, like throwing a lot of shade to Chanel. Like, who are the Oberlins? Who are you? You're rich? Like, and Chanel's explaining about her family that, they were on the Mayflower and all this kind of stuff. But the Radwells, of course, are the oldest living settlers, I guess, in the United States. They arrived like 30 years before the Mayflower.
Oh my god.
These people.
Yes. He signed the back of the Declaration of Independence because he was the last one.
There was no more room on the front.
Oh my
So,
god.
so the Oberlin was, if the Oberlin would have, no, John Hancock was just the largest, so he wasn't the last. So,
If John
well,
Hancock hadn't have
Oberlins.
put like the damn huge one, maybe Oberlin would have been in the front.
Exactly. Aw, poor Oberlins. And at one point, Ms. Radwell, like, insults Chanel, and she, like, hops up, she's like, I'm gonna cut you, bitch. But then, all of a sudden, Hester arrives, and she arrives with her neck brace, her bedazzled neck brace, and, things just go crazy. Mr. Radwell ends up offering Chanel a check for $50,000 if she leaves the house and never comes back. And at first Chanel thought that she was getting propositioned by Mr. Radwell, which was funny, but it wasn't that. He's trying to get her to leave. And she obviously does not accept the money. So later on, the Radwells play Pictionary, and they continue to insult Chanel and Hester. They, I believe that was Mrs. Radwell's handwriting. The word was horse, but then she crossed out the S, and she put neck brace on top, and she put a W, so it's a neck brace whore. And after a hilarious game of Pictionary where Brad was, pointing at Hester, they started talking about whore, ugly, poo belly, all this kind of stuff, and they finally said neck brace whore. And at that moment, Chanel gets up, she's fed up, she rants and raves against everyone in the family, from Thad to Brad to Bunny to, I don't even know what Mr. Radwell's called.
Mr.
Tad?
Radwell.
Is his name also Chad?
No, his
he
name
was
was
Tad. Tad, yes, Tad. There was Tad, and even our very own Chad Radwell. She ends things with Chad, and he's like, yeah, but you've done that before. And she's like, but this time, it's the end. I never want to see you again. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to touch you. I don't even want you to exist. And so she storms away, and Hester gets up, and they make amends, and she's, during the ranting, she also apologizes to Hester. And so Hester, when Chanel leaves, she gets up and she's like, all I've ever wanted to is to be your sister. And so they depart from the Radwell compound.
Aww.
So let's pause right here, and let's talk about the Radwells. What do we think of the Radwells and what happened at their home?
Holy shit, it was really weird seeing Mr. Sievert go, like, you're trash. I'm like, oh, what is going on here? Like,
I love seeing him say horror.
yes. Bunny is a bitch. And she really did look like an ostrich clutch. But,
That
like,
was fantastic.
but, like, Chanel can't say shit. She's over there looking like a damn turkey herself.
Yeah, he was like, what kind of person with money would wear that outfit?
I just wish she would have laid the smackdown on Muffy too, because
All right.
nobody liked her. Even her husband was just kind of like, "Shut up, I'm done."
Right.
That was just epic, and I knew it. I called it that Neck Brace was still alive, and she was. Her eyes are still creepy as fuck when she's like touching Chad, and she's like, "Oh my god!" Like she's really obsessed. Like, she does the best creepy face out of everyone, and I'm glad she's alive. I don't really like Leah Michelle, but like her character, like the way she plays her character is solid. I'm not gonna lie, I like her.
Yeah, she plays like Hester with that like creepy, like she could be the killer type dynamic, but like she's also like that like innocent like girl that like wants attention, like that she played in Glee.
Didn't you feel bad for her when she was being like told off by the Radwells?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Pictionary, like her face, I was like, oh my god, it's like you're hitting a baby deer. What the fuck?
Yeah, I felt terrible, and I'm like, and then when Chanel did what she did, I was like, yeah, clearly Chanel felt the same way I did, because you wouldn't like, I wasn't like, no one really expects her to stand up for like Chanel number 6 out of all of them. Maybe Chanel number 3, like out of all Chanel's. So like,
Well, yeah, of course not Chanel number 5.
oh no, Chanel number 5, she hates.
No one gives a shit about Chanel number 5. Not even her.
Or Chanel number 5. Yeah, exactly.
Or her,
or her quote-unquote family. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, but I thought that too.
Chanel's mom, I forgot about, like to mention that, like, I'm not drunk, I'm wine drunk.
Yeah, oh my god.
I'm like, she's been seeing way too many Shonda Rhimes, like, shows, because apparently wine drunk is different from real drunk.
It's like, yeah, she's like, that's the same shit, Mom. Like, is this called for some advice? And he came and was like, yeah, can I make a proposition? She's like, are you trying to proposition me? He's like, no, I'm trying to pay you off. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I love when he was like, these two gold diggers.
Oh god. I'm like, dude, she's rich, though. I'm like, maybe
he didn't believe her.
Yeah, he really didn't. He's like, yeah. Or he just thought they were like poor rich, like not at his standard rich. Because he's like, or get that money and get yourself Olive Garden or whatever your family does.
Yes. At least he didn't say Arby's, because Denise Hemphill would have been jealous.
Yeah, we still don't know what.
She's Chanel's seen better decor in the Sizzler.
Maybe she owns Sizzlers.
That's true.
Why would Chanel number 1 be in a Sizzler? Maybe because she was in the Red Devil costume. No, like maybe she was in the Red Devil costume and she went to Sizzler.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god, just the Radwells. Although Bunny had the best smackdown ever for Hester being like, I am carrying his seed, and she's like, I don't give a shit. Sit the fuck down. That is a poo belly.
Yeah, I loved how Hester really thought that was gonna impress them, or like give them any sympathy towards her.
But I'm carrying his kid. They're like, and bitch.
Oh my god!
How much you want to shut up?
Like, I wonder if they had offered it to her if she would have gotten it. I really wonder if she would have taken the $50,000.
I feel like she might to try to
How
at
the
least.
fuck did she get there? She's poor.
Oh, geez. She took Gigi's car after she killed her. Dun dun dun.
Oh gosh. Good grief.
I was thinking about that. I'm just kind of like, they're like in the wine country or something like that, aren't they? Like,
well, we don't even really know because we haven't gotten there, but they get back really fast. So this is the TV show, and they're using TV show logic, where you can go from like one state to the next in like
in the blink
one commercial break or something. Because some of the stuff that was happening with like how people were getting to different places fast was insane.
But I also feel like that's part of the illusion of like any of them could be the Red Devil. Like, how did they get there so fast?
Yeah, that's true as well. It gives that whole Clue, the movie vibe.
Yeah.
So let's visit the Kappa house since we're done with the Radwells. We have Dean Munch. She's going to have Thanksgiving dinner with...
Wait,
yeah, go ahead.
one more thing. Sorry. Aspic looks gross. That shit that's like Henry VIII just threw up in my mouth. It looks like throw up. It looks like
right? Oh my
up.
god.
That
was
like,
so
no,
disgusting.
just give me some pumpkin pie. Like none of that crap. Like I've never eaten pie in my life, but I would rather have that than like the aspic. The aspic looks like like I don't know, like Thanksgiving tartare. And that looks disgusting.
It looks like the worst kind of jello you could ever have.
Ugh. That.
And we need to change your life, Priscilla. You need to have pie. What the hell?
Yeah, I need to have like a slice of pie at
You
some
need to
point.
have a slice of pie. Yes.
But you know what's funny when the butler was like, "Sir, Chad, the dessert's ready," and he was like, "I'm trying to pick my tail." Like he was so pissed because he was trying to pick which one he was gonna keep.
Oh my
He
God,
like named the whole family though. Like he named everybody. Like it was just making sure they all knew. Like, dude, I'm trying to pick which ass I want to keep.
so gross. He was so stoked for it. Thad, Chad, no, Thad, Tad,
Right?
Brad. I have no idea how he didn't
Dad,
get.
I'm trying to pick my ass.
Trying to get my ass picked on. That's so gross.
That's what it was. Ass pick. Yo, that shit was hilarious.
So gross.
Yeah, for those that did not Google it, aspic is a dish in which ingredients are set into a gelatin made from a meat stock or consommé. Non-savory dishes often made with commercial gelatin mixes without stock or consommé are usually called gelatin salad. So this is a savory version. Nearly any type of meat can be used to make the gelatin: pork, beef, veal, chicken, turkey, or fish. The aspic may need additional gelatin in order to set properly, and yeah. Vegetable and fish stocks need gelatin to maintain a molded shape, so the gelatin is used to maintain that weird brick castle, whatever that was,
So you were
shape.
right. It's Jello. It is meat Jello.
It's meat Jello. Yeah.
That's disgusting. Ugh. No.
I threw up in my mouth a lot.
You know?
Not a little, a lot.
And apparently it was very popular in the 60s. Apparently the majority of 60s cookbooks had large sections devoted to various aspic dishes.
Well, they are an old family, I guess. So.
Because they didn't have taste buds back then, clearly.
Oh, gosh. Yes,
No.
humans started developing taste buds within the past 40 years.
Yeah, didn't it come with computers and cell phones? Nobody.
Aspic
Prince.
Gross, but that crap that like Chanel No. 5 brought, like that like 11 meat salad or whatever the fuck she made, that sounded good. I would totally eat like Spam, rattlesnake, goat, whatever the hell. Like,
no, I'd rather eat the Swenson's TV dinner. Sorry.
Yes,
oh my God,
thank
that's
you.
good.
At least you know what you're getting with the TV dinner.
Like,
you know what you're getting with the
dinner
TV dinner.
for
You don't know what you're getting with aspic or that 11 meats of rattlesnake, raccoon, possum, whatever that was.
They totally did not say raccoon and possum.
You mean roadkill pie? Roadkill pie with Spam.
Yeah.
And I'm
No,
sorry,
thank you.
But I'm just kind of like
because Spam is poor people food. I hate penalization, but Spam is poor people food, and I don't eat that shit. I got a little too much class on this taste buds, you know.
Oh gosh.
Ugh.
Speaking of classy people, let's head on over to the Kappa house, and we've got Dean Munch. She's there for Thanksgiving dinner. She's cooking Tiburon, and we all
he got pardoned, but apparently it was just a state of execution.
Basically, we have Chanel No. 3 there, and we also learned that Grace and Zayday have stuck around. They decided not to head on over to Oakland and have Oakland nachos for Thanksgiving. They're going to stay in the Kappa house together.
I was so
Grace,
sad about. I was hoping we'd see Zayday's grandma so much, and when they were
that
like,
would
"No,"
have been amazing.
I'm like, "God damn it! I wanted to see Oakland nachos on the table."
who wouldn't want to see that? And so Grace has a phone conversation with Wes. She basically says you can come on over. Although he had like a bomb ass dope looking turkey in the oven. Like that looks so good.
Well, because they just killed a huge ass turkey for it. Like,
No. The one that Wes had, because Wes was getting things ready for Gigi, and he had mentioned to Grace he doesn't know where Gigi is, and that's when Grace invites him over to the Kappa house. He had like a turkey ready. He was like looking in the oven, and it looked so good.
that's true.
Yeah. And, okay, so it's the Dean, Grace, Zayday, Wes, Chanel number 3, bam, Chanel number 5 arrives. She says her parents forgot to tell her that they went to the Maldives for Thanksgiving, so that's when she has that 11 concoction of meat casserole, let's call it. Why not? And they all start arguing over who they think the killer is, because this is the game that the Dean wants to play while they're waiting for the turkey to cook, because it takes a long time to cook a turkey. They figure out. No charades. Unfortunately, although I would have loved to have seen that, in my opinion. So the Dean says that she thinks it's Chanel number 3. And she starts, giving her reasons why she thinks it's Chanel number 3. Chanel number 3 thinks that it's the Dean. And she starts giving her own reasons why she thinks it's the Dean. And, they go in even to say that, she killed her husband and everything. And, I mean, they were getting right to it until, bam, the conversation changes to Wes saying, I'm ashamed to say this, but I think it's you, Grace.
Holy shit. When I saw that, I'm like, dads aren't supposed to do that to their daughters. It's totally like ride or die. No, you can't do that shit.
Exactly.
It
was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, wow, like who the hell says that?
I thought he was gonna go for Pete, although apparently Pete went for him.
Yeah, so so he gives his reasons, and then Pete arrives out of nowhere because he's following Zayday's Twitter feed or something. And Pete says that he's compiled evidence that he's dug up, and he says that Wes is the killer. And so he goes into his official documents and whatnot, with pictures and everything. And through his research, he discovers that Wes is Boone's father. And so he's the father of both bathtub babies.
He
Wes
got
talks
the Maury show to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, he did.
That is epic.
Because he stole hair samples and everything, which was amazing. And so Wes talks to Grace alone.
To the cop to get to the first evidence, to get the hair, to give to the guy Murray.
Yes. Murray or Maury?
Maury.
Yes.
Maury. Yeah, my bad.
And Wes talks to Grace alone, and he's like, he didn't know that he had knocked up the bathtub baby maker. So they make up, and they they basically say, I know that it's not you. I know that it's not you, so we need to figure out who it is. Chanel and Hester arrive, as does Chad soon after, and he makes up with Chanel for like the billionth time. The other Chanel number 3 and 5, go to retrieve the turkey because the turkey's done. They're all ready to eat. And Chanel, when she lifts up the, whatever you call that thing, the serving dish cover, everyone screams in terror when it is revealed that Gigi's head is on the platter. Brum, brum, brum. So let's discuss what happened at the Kappa Kappa Tau house for Thanksgiving, and let's go into a bit everyone's theories as to who the killers are and why, because everyone did have some interesting evidence as to why certain people could be the killer. Let's break it down.
I love how Chanel number 3 put the Dean on the spot and was just kind of like, no, you don't have a sulfate allergy because I saw you eating a bologna sandwich. And then someone else is just kind of like, I see you eating the Spam casserole and I see you drinking wine. So you're obviously lying about something. But I think when they pointed the Dean out, that all of us as an audience kind of already knew this. So I don't know. I think it rules her out as the other Red Devil. Plus, I don't think she'd ever work with Gigi. She don't like
Well,
that bitch.
I think realistically, as a viewers, we know it's not any of the people that they kind of picked in a sense because we know it's the actual twin, and we know that none of them could possibly be Boone's twin.
Well, now we
So-
know for sure that Chanel number 3 is she has a mom and she has
Exactly.
Charles Manson as a dad, so that rules her out.
I said, at the end of the day, it leaves, in my opinion, Chanel number 5, who went to no family.
Yeah, we didn't see a family.
And
we didn't even see her arrive at a location or anything, so that makes
Exactly.
me suspicious.
And it would be Hester, because where did she disappear to when she got out of the fridge?
And, to be quite honest, Pete.
Oh, yeah. Your theory does still go into play.
Yeah,
I will say one more thing.
He just showed up out of nowhere. And he always shows up because he's like, oh, because I know this, or because I know that, or because I'm told this. And no one really corroborates what he's saying.
Yeah, because he's a journalist, so they don't question it. I'm a journalist major.
But why the hell would Candle Girl's room not have matches or a lighter?
Yeah,
I was just kind of like, why would the person obsessed with candles not have that shit there? Maybe because she's still using it? I'm like, please have the wild card, have it be Candle Girl. But I'm still like, if it has
It
to
could
be.
be. I mean, if Hester's alive.
If it has to be something really like obvi, like it's Chanel number 5. But I still hope that it's Candle Girl.
Well, see, the only reason why I didn't.
I love your theory. It's fun. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but it's an interesting theory nonetheless.
Oh, I did love the flashback with the Chanels when Chanel number 3 didn't have the earmuffs. So that was probably before she met the guy that wanted to cut her ears off, which would have been her freshman year. That the guy, she would have met him.
I love how they both, like, Chanel number 3 and number 5 just kicked Grace out, and they were just like, ha ha ha, yeah, we did it, and they clink wine glasses together.
Oh yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. I love when they met her, they're like, oh, you're like pretty, but you better be filthy rich to roll with us.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, so if you don't got money, you're kind of pointless. But their theories were all like logical. Like I could see where they were coming from each person when they like turned the finger onto the other person.
Yeah.
But it kind of felt like it was just kind of going in a row, like a chain.
Mm-hmm. But I think we can all agree that it's safe to say that the second Red Devil is there.
Yeah.
It's one of them. It has to be someone that was in that room.
Absolutely.
Because how in the hell would
head.
Gigi's head? Yeah.
See, then that makes me think Chanel number 5 because she already brought food on top of the head. But then I'm like, where?
When she's the one that leaves to get the tray, and she's the one that points out, "Hey, it's lighter than it should be."
Well, both of them go. Remember?
Well,
and plus Hester, you gotta remember, Hester ran around before she even went to Chad's house, and she probably had enough time to run around before the food came out.
Who had the chance to like go and get it? Plus, if it was Hester, would she have had an electric cutter? Because she would have used it to kill.
She did. Remember she said the same thing kind of Gigi said when she got the electric cutter, and then Chanel number 5 was like, that's an interesting way to say it. Like she's like, oh, it could cut through bone or something like that. And didn't Gigi say like the same thing when she got it?
Oh shit.
And then Chanel number 5 was like, well, that's a weird way to say it. And I was like, wow, I kind of feel like Gigi just said that earlier.
I hope it's not Hester. I kind of like her. I hope I like now that she's getting more and more like off the wall. Like I'm hoping that she's one of the ones that stays, and she couldn't be if she's the killer.
Correct.
And I also kind of thought that Hester would be the only one that would sit there and make hand turkeys with Gigi.
No, number 5
gosh.
would too.
Number 5 but you know what I do? I will say I did love about the ending was how they played Young Forever for Gigi, the chick that tried to say Young Forever as they revealed her head. Forever Young.
What I liked is that when they were explaining Wes, like how he could be the killer, and they're like hashtag stalker, hashtag being a good father.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That one in the one where he's like,
oh, he's like, I was kind of a man slut back then. He's like, and it was the 90s. No one was wearing condoms. And then, like, the dean was like, yeah, you know, like,
I get
just
that.
kind of agreeing.
That was so gross. I will say, like, I think you mentioned it, Puppy, before that, like, the background has like a lot of people like making like different faces and stuff and reacting. This time around, like when they were going around, the background faces were the best. I didn't know whether to look at the people talking or to look at the other people, because like you had people making disgusted faces and the faces, and Hester just looking all creepy with their precious moments, giant eyes, like oh my god, like it was a really good episode. I liked that whodunit part. Although I'm not like, I don't really think it's Hester, even though like it's obvious that like it might be her. Like, I don't know. I think she likes Chanel. Like she learned how to be a sister. I really hope she isn't the killer.
True, but see, I feel like it outside source, not from the show. Like it's a Ryan Murphy thing. Like I feel like Leah Michelle probably has other projects coming at her now that she's looking at, and he's keeping her to at least the end because that's his girl.
But you can say the opposite of that as well, because it's a Ryan Murphy thing and he loves Leah Michelle, that he's going to want to keep her alive so that she can be in season 2.
Well, she is working on her next album and her other book and another book.
And that's what I mean. Like, I feel like she's going to have to take time off to do her own stuff. And so this might be the perfect role to keep her towards the end, but not keep her for the next season. And, you know, if regardless, he can always put her in American Horror Story.
That is true. We'll be discussing that when we start giving our theories for who the killers, or who now the killer is. Any final thoughts on the episode Thanksgiving as a whole before we move into that?
Is it weird that with Scream Queens, they're really dumb and you can figure out like most of the things way ahead, but I didn't see Wes being the father of the 2 babies. Like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was a surprising revelation.
And
yeah, it came left field.
The whole Grace finally like nutting up and being like, if I have to kill like the Red Devil, like for all of you, my family, yeah, I would, was like the most compelling I've ever seen Grace, ever.
It's the one time that I actually was like, okay, you're not Alex fully.
Oh, Alex. American Horror Story shout out.
Blech.
You don't want to be an Alex.
Nobody does.
Nobody wants to be a Grace either, though. Even in this moment, nobody wants to be a Grace.
Yeah, no one wants to be a Grace, but I don't even think Alex wants to be an Alex. So in that sense, like, come on, you don't want to be
Alex
an Alex.
wants to be a Grace.
You
exactly.
know,
Like,
I think now Pete has no chance in hell of being with Grace. Also, like,
he'd be forcing it. He's like, so you never trying to be together, and I'm not trying to mean no harm, but I think you're the killer.
Who does that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what does you guys having to be an item have to do with you putting out your thoughts? He clearly didn't give a fuck when he threw out his daughter.
Like, but now he's got like a snowball's chance in hell of being with the daughter, with Grace. Which
no, he's probably gonna
I
like
will
save
bring up
her.
later, like during the theories. But yeah, I hope we get to that part.
We are. We're going to get there. So, for me, it was a fantastic episode. I can't wait to see what happens next. There were a lot of great revelations and a lot of just interesting theorizing out there that I think they must have, like, either guessed what they would have thought the listeners would be talking about, because they did sort of drop a lot of things that I think a lot of people have been thinking as potential theories as to who could actually be the killer. But obviously we know a lot more information now that some of it was kind of like debunking in actuality why certain people could potentially be the killer. So let's actually talk about the killer. We're going to jump straight into our campus superlatives. Who do you think will survive in the finale? Remember, it's about 4 people that are going to survive into the next season, if there is a next season. And who do you think the final killer is? We already know that Boone was one of the killers. We already know that Gigi was one of the killers. With them both being dead, that means that there is someone out there continuing to wreak havoc against our main characters. So who is that killer? And Priscilla, since you're really excited about this, I'll ask you first. Who's the killer and who will survive?
Okay, as for who will survive, I think it's still Chanel. I think it's still Grace. I hope it's Chad. Like, he said Happy Thanksgiving to that, and so do I. Like, please keep him alive, Red Devil. And I think the last one is Zayde. And I think we've already kind of ruled out that it's Zayde, because now we know that it's a white mom and a white dad that had a baby that had twins, even though twins can be like 2 different races. Like, now we know for sure, like, the background is just not gonna like give that. So Zayde's in the clear. And I still think that, like, they discussed Chanel number 3 and Dean and Wes as the killers because they're ruling it out for the audience, because it doesn't feel like it's gonna be one of them. But if it's Pete, he's been dating and kissing his sister, his half-sister, the entire time, and he knows who his father is. So I don't think it's Pete. Although it's a very Ryan Murphy thing to do, I don't think he'd pull it off here for Scream Queens. I actually still think that it's either Chanel number 5, like, for sure it's going to be Chanel number 5, or if they're being fun, Candle Girl. But it's probably Chanel number 5 because she wasn't there for the first half. She just said that her parents didn't give a shit about her. We haven't met her parents yet. She was still there during the spray tanning incident, and she was there for every other like event. And we know for sure that seeing killings doesn't cover you as a killer, because Gigi saw the Red Devil. She was one of the people conspiring with them. So I don't think the killing of her boyfriends covers her. I think Chanel number 5 is the Red Devil.
Interesting. Okay, I'll go next. I think that Chanel Oberlin will survive. Let me preface this by saying I'm not going to count any of the adults, because if the rumor for what season 2 is going to be about, we might not need any of the adults. So I'm not going to count them as survivors, because they might still survive, but they're not the 4 that Ryan Murphy has said will continue on into the next season. So the 4 that I think that will continue on, that will survive: Chanel Oberlin, Zayde, Grace, although I think Grace could be an interesting final kill, especially with the whole familial connection. But for now, I'll say Grace will survive, although she could be like the last kill. And Hester, because I'm completely in the opposite of what Prince said earlier in the episode. I think she's going to continue on into the next season. I think Ryan Murphy's Lea Michele, his buddy, his Glee star, will continue on. As far as the killer, I still think it's Pete. I just feel it. And I feel like because of Scream Queens and how over the top it is, him making out with his sister, or half-sister, or whatever it is, it just adds to the scandal of it. And I can see it happening. I think it is Pete. For some reason, it just feels right to me that it's Pete. Maybe next week it'll change, but I know the past couple weeks I've been like, it's Pete, it's Pete, it's Pete. And it just feels right. Like, I can't see anybody else, unless maybe Chanel number 3. And because we know she's adopted, that whole Charles Manson thing could be a lie. And maybe she's just adopted.
Huh. So you're sticking to your theories of Pete and Chanel number 3?
No, Pete and Boone, obviously. Oh, you mean that it could it's either Pete or Chanel number 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like 90% sure, at least in my theory, that I think it's going to be Pete. Like 10% that it's Chanel number 3. Because we saw the family and whatnot, like, it just kind of negates everything else that I'm thinking about her. But Pete, I'm just still stuck on Pete. Like, Pete. Prince, go ahead.
My survivors were Zayday, Chanel number 1, Grace, and just because I like her, Chanel number 3. Since we're not, including the adults.
Going again?
And I know. And my killer is clearly, Hester. And why?
I love it. You're like, it's her.
Clearly it's Hester because I'm like, when she escaped the ice box, where'd she go? Why not make hand turkeys and kill friggin' Gigi? Because, she's a pain in the ass too. Plus, like I said, Gigi said the thing about the hand carver, and, Hester said something around the same line. And I don't remember ever seeing a scene where the Red Devil actually tried to kill Hester.
No, it hasn't. You're right. It's just them trying
Not
to
yet.
start a group.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I'm like, until Chanel number 5 has had numerous scenes where the Red Devils tried to kill her. Chanel number, 3 or, Chanel number 1 have all had like similar, like maybe not as many experiences, but like experiences enough. But I'm like, I've never seen like Lea Michele have like a legitimate like run-in with the Red Devil.
Well, that just reminds me. Chanel number 3 is also ruled out because Chanel number 3 talked to Boone and was
and
scared
she was so
of him.
surprised. Like, Dead Gay Boone. I saw the ghost of Dead Gay Boone.
I'm more leaning towards Pete, but if I were to be leaning towards Chanel number 3, for me at least, I could be like, that's all, a ruse, they're playing around and that kind of thing. So I could see them, if they picked her, they could go that route.
Yeah, like she's just a really good actress.
But I still think it's Pete, for me at least.
It's Hester. And she's already creepy enough, and she already likes, that whole morbid death. And like I said, she likes from the beginning. I'm still on the whole fact that, like, she liked history. She's a history major. She would look into the history and know her own history of what went on in the school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love everyone's theories. I feel like at least one of us is right.
Well, we've named almost the entire cast. So
no.
Right.
Well, we've named 3 as of right now. Maybe earlier in the season we did sort of like pick around at everyone, to be quite honest. Did. But I think out of these 3, they're very good picks as to who the final person is. I feel like at least one of us is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be Grace or someone like crazy at the end, like, that would be amazing. If all of us are wrong.
Yeah, I think that would be spectacular. Like, if Candle Girl does come back, and she's like, and they do a Scooby-Doo thing, like, they rip it off, and she's like, if I would have gotten away with it, if it wasn't for you meddling Kappas.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. That absolutely would be hilarious. I think if we're all wrong, and it was like some like cartoonish 90s style, like, unrevealing, I think I'd be satisfied.
Mm-hmm. Either way, it's a great show. Like, so I think I'm going to be satisfied even if it's like someone obvious or if it's someone like completely out of left field. Like, it's that good of a show.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'll be happy with anybody, to be quite honest. Like, I'm not the type of person, at least with this show, that's like, oh, if it's going to be this person, then it's, it's so stupid. I think I'm going to enjoy anyone when it's revealed who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah. So let's dive into some spoilers. It's time to get a little spoilery, and let's dive into some spoilers for upcoming episodes of Scream Queens. This is an official spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Check out our official Facebook like page by visiting facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid. Let's start off with the ratings. Scream Queens' latest episode, Thanksgiving, was viewed by 2 million total viewers and a .8 in the key demographic of 18 to 49. It did hit a season low, but we have to remember that this is Thanksgiving week when they aired this episode, and unfortunately viewership is typically very low during the week of Thanksgiving. But I guess, because they're trying to get it to air before the next holiday, which is Christmas, when viewership is dead,
Right.
they had to air it during Thanksgiving week. But I'm sure it will tick up, especially in the next two airings, because it's the penultimate and then the 2-hour season finale. Now, let's discuss the 2-hour season finale, because the official press release for that episode has been released. Just to remind everyone, the next episode is titled Black Friday. We went over that press release last time here on Are You Afraid, Scream Queens? So let me announce the names of the final 2 episodes of the season. Episode 12 is titled Dorcas, and episode 13 is titled, and I think Priscilla is going to like this, The Final Girls, with the S in parentheses.
Yes. Oh my god, I love the film. Also, just shout out to Final Girls, the film. Watch it. But yay, more than one girl is gonna survive. That S means something.
Exactly. So let's get into the press release. The Red Devil unmasked on the special 2-hour season finale of Scream Queens, Tuesday, December 8th on Fox. Shocking confessions are made as the Red Devil is finally unmasked and the killer revealed in the all-new Dorcas / The Final Girls special 2-hour season finale of Scream Queens. So let me give you information on who is going to be appearing in this final episode, the guest cast, because I think the guest cast is interesting because it really sparks the idea that they are going to be showing a whole lot of flashbacks. Because if you guys remember, I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before that where I'd read some quotes from Ryan Murphy saying that during the final installment there are going to be flashbacks explaining everything as far as how the Red Devil / Devils got away with everything throughout the season. So the guest cast includes Breesley Eslin as Jennifer, our Candle Girl, Jenna Han as Sam, aka Predatory Les, Whitney Mayer as Tiffany, aka Deaf Taylor Swift.
Yay!
We've got Brianne Howie as Melanie Dorcas, and I can't remember who that is.
Isn't that the one?
Is that the one that got her face burned? Yes, that's the one that
Yeah.
got her face burned.
Yeah.
So she's in the episode. I remember the first episode is actually called Dorcas, and then the second hour is called The Final Girls. We've got Aaron Rhodes as Roger. We've got Deneen Tyler as Shondell, our homegirl.
Yeah. She's coming back. So this is probably going to be like
Shondell
a
dead.
post roundup.
Shondell dead.
Could be, but also I think they're probably going to show, like, let's say Shondell's killing from the Red Devil's perspective.
Huh.
I think that's something that might happen. We've got Michael Siberry as Chesterton. We've got Lara Grice as, wait for this, Chanel No. 5's mom.
Yes! We're going to get to see... I don't even know what she named her mom. Like, for sure, I thought it was going to be Coco, but it's not. It's someone else. Like, she's named another name.
We also have got Wallace Langham as Chanel No. 5's dad. So Chanel No. 5 does have parents.
Oh. So
We've also got Jean Louise Kelly as Delight, which I think that's Chanel No. 1's mom.
Oh,
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And we
It's
also
killing me
have...
that I don't remember her name.
Yeah, we also have Stephen Culp as Clark,
Clark?
which maybe that's
Chanel number one's dad?
Chanel No. 1's dad, maybe?
Don't know. These are really, like, up in the air, like names. A lot of like I still think like we already had Chanel #2 come back as a ghost from hell. So I think your theory is right that they're just gonna have like flashbacks to their deaths.
Yeah, and how certain people got killed. And of course, special guest stars returning include Ariana Grande as Chanel #2, Nick Jonas as Boone Clemens, and Niecy Nash as Denise Hemphill.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just excited, especially if they do like relive the scenes through like the Red Devil's eyes to see Ariana Grande death again.
Can never get too much of Ariana Grande dying.
That's too funny. So there are going to be major reveals. Some behind-the-scenes photos have emerged, and I don't know if this is a flashback. I don't know if this is present-day stuff, but we see the 3 Chanels in orange jumpsuits.
Huh.
We see
Well-
Chanel #1, Chanel #3, and Chanel #5 in jumpsuits.
Well, didn't they what's it called? Didn't one of them like bail out like Chanel #1? Like Chanel #1 should
Chanel
be going
#3
to trial
did.
or something.
Chanel
So-
#3 bailed out Chanel #1.
Yeah, and it's funny because Chanel #3 doesn't have her earmuffs on because she's in prison garb, so she has her hair in Princess Leia buns.
Shout out to
I
Star
love
Wars.
it.
Shout out to
Yes.
her mama.
To her mama.
Maybe they're finally
Her
getting
mom
their
probably
comeuppance
did
for
her
Mrs.
hair.
Bean.
That's what I was thinking. It was probably for Mrs. Bean.
Could be, yeah. I have some information on a potential next season for Scream Queens. Now, let me put this out there first. Fox has not renewed Scream Queens. They haven't announced anything as far as that, but if the listeners recall, and also my co-hosts recall, earlier this season, during the spoiler section, I did say that Ryan Murphy had pitched a second season to the network, and they were really excited about it. And we've also had stories reported during the spoiler section in which some other stars, i.e. Lady Gaga, have said that they're interested in Scream Queens, and that Ryan Murphy has said he has been chatting with a big, major, huge, spectacular pop star, male pop star, for a role in a potential second season. To repeat a quote from Ryan Murphy, he said, "I just pitched to Fox a second season. Everyone loves the idea of it, and the conceit is 3 or 4 of the cast members from season 1 survive. In the second season, the survivors go off to a new venue, a horror-based venue, and then they have to fight a new killer, a new villain, a new threat." Oliver Hudson, who plays Wes, was on Watch What Happens Live recently, and he may have just dropped a bit of a bombshell spoiler about a potential season 2. When asked about it, he said, "I have an idea, it's scary, but I'm scared to reveal anything, as we don't know if it's going to be picked up, but whatever, think summer camp."
Wait, no, because I heard that summer camp was gonna be this is already a spoiler alert, but this might be for another show. But I heard that it was gonna be for American Horror Story. That it's confirmed that it's for American Horror Story.
Interesting. I hope that's true, because I know that you're new this season, and I don't know if Prince remembers, but I have been craving a summer camp
Yes, he has.
for the longest. Like, I think last year I did predict Hotel as well when Prince was here, but since the beginning, since we've been doing these recaps for American Horror Story, the 2 things that I've been saying is I want a haunted hotel, although I said, maybe that might be too similar to season 1, so I was like, maybe that might not ever happen, but it did happen. And the second thing that I've been wanting is a summer camp, because I'm like, they could do like Jason, and they can mix in Freddy Krueger, all the like stuff from the 80s horror they could mix into it, and I thought it would be fantastic. Like, I always imagine like Jessica Lange in the woods, being like the mother of like whoever is killing or something, or Jessica Lange could be the owner of the summer camp or something like that. But apparently though, Fox has registered a couple of names, because usually when a production comes out, studios kind of registered trademarks for certain things. And 20th Century Fox has trademarked Scream Queens, Summer Camp. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means anything, but apparently that has been trademarked. But there's other stuff that's been trademarked by Fox as well, which is fascinating in my opinion. Not only is Scream Queens Summer Camp trademarked, but so has Scream Queens Sorority Row and Scream Queens Haunted Hayride.
Oh man.
But I still think camp, like, which would probably be like a better idea, I think, for Scream Queens, because I would love to see Denise Campbell as like a camp counselor again.
Oh my gosh, yes, with her little like khaki shorts.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yes.
But
I feel like
it's
Summer
gonna be
Camp
American
and
Horror
Sorority
Story.
Row would make sense. I feel like, let's just say, out of fluke, right? Ryan Murphy decides he wants to keep most of the people that are left. So no one really dies that's left. I feel like
That
the
was
Chanels would stay and do Sorority Row. And I feel like Zayday, Grace, and Pete would go off and be camp counselors.
Interesting. I also want to say that in October, Fashion and Style reported that, much like we mentioned in an earlier episode, and I mentioned earlier, that Lady Gaga is interested in being a part of Scream Queens, as is, and this is new information, Evan Peters, who has been on American Horror Story since the beginning. He's expressed interest in being part of the Scream Queens franchise.
It's because Emma told him to.
Having him do humor would be interesting, because he's been playing like
Very dark characters.
Yes.
very dark or very serious or very I don't know. I didn't like season 2 so funny without meaning it. Like, so to have him purposely be funny would be refreshing.
If he's good at it.
He's
You know,
Evan Peters. He's good at everything.
Some people can't pull funny off. It comes off corny.
That's true.
As long as he can pull it off, like the rest of them, because like Grace, when she tries to pull off funny, it comes off corny. So as long as he's not like Grace, he can be good.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to find out soon if they renew it and to see what the potential theme is. It'd be interesting if, like, at the end of the final episode, it sort of sets up the new season.
That'd be awesome.
Like, I don't know, like we see whoever, like if it is Grace that's alive, we see her like having a flyer, summer camp. She's like, after all this that's happened on campus, I think I need a break. Zayday, come with me to summer camp. We could be counselors or something. And that sets off the new chapter for Scream Queens. On that note, join us next time for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid, Scream Queens? Visit poppychularadio.com/archives to download this episode and many more. Registered users will gain access to our archives of previously aired broadcasts. Please like us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? You can also like the station on Facebook by going to facebook.com/poppychularadio. You can email us with any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns at contact@poppychularadio.com. Co-host, can you please wish the listeners a good night?
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Don't let the Red Devil get you.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid, Scream Queens. Good night.